Hey everyone. So I've been thinking a lot on autism and what we have to deal with when it comes to egos. Now, basically everyone gets the understanding that an ego is an alternate personality part of your body that usually comes from self-defense mechanisms and concepts of protection from fear, like trying to fit in. So you pretend to be something else, or you're not quite meeting expectations of someone else. Basically, what I'm saying is mostly Nego is a bad function. It's quite destructive in relationships. It can hurt a person and hurt their chances at actually getting to know someone properly. Basically, get in the way of what people consider their self. And my talk today is going to be on the fact that ego can be even worse for someone with Asperger's syndrome. For my understanding and from what I think of how this interacts. Um, I find that if I adhere to my ego, I tend to try to be things that I am not. I tend to act and copy ways I've seen people act within social situations so that, well, basically it's taking hold and it's trying to stop me from being falling out of the group. But the fact is, real friends don't really care about that stuff. They're more interested in the real you and more accepting of what it is. So it took me a long time to learn this. It wasn't until about 20 when I realized that I had some pretty poor excuses for friends. They were always interested in all the egotistically driven kind of choices in social standing. And so I actually went out of my way to find friends that weren't that. And I now have them, and I don't have to act as much. My ego is completely not a problem for me as much as it used to be. It used to really get in the way of me actually living my life. It actually, for me, got into such a problem that I wouldn't feel situations. I found that my ego was actually preventing me from experiencing the emotion that I should have in a certain situation. It quite happened. It happened quite a lot, and it really got in the way of making decisions that a clear mind should. And so I decided to really work on that, and I found that when you work on being yourself, people accept it once you start to accept it. If you're different, it's not in any way should ever be a problem. I mean, look at all the subtle differences people socially accept as simple diversities between the people, like musical preference. Like I have friends who like very poppy kind of music, where I'm more into very alternative and grunge, and well, it's a larger range, but anyway, and that's an acceptable difference, diversity. Where I think there's a kind of a space where there's diversity that's acceptable and then there isn't. Now, I think it ranges for each person depending on their ability to accept others. I have to admit that my best friend, he is one of the most accepting people I've ever met. He is really a good person. uh, he'll probably watch this and make fun of me for it, but I doubt I'll have any problem with that. But I found that when I lost one of my best friends to suicide quite a few years ago, he was the one that really stuck around. And even after I'd pushed most of the people away that I cared about, he would still call me up most weekends and go, "So what are we doing?" And basically charmed his way in, and cheeky bugger. But he's got a heart of God, and he's one of my best friends. Um, his diversities to me are different, not that much really. He's quite similar. He's got the same taste in music, and we like a lot of the same things, so we get along quite well. But I also always felt comfortable with being more myself with him because he just was so relaxed and calm about anything that it felt very accepting, and there was no social cues on me. There's no social pressure, and I didn't have to rely on my ego. Is what I'm trying to say. And that was a really good basis for me to start developing who I was, which a lot of people consider that people with Asperger's are late bloomers. Basically, they're emotionally behind. Now, I don't think this is quite right. I don't really believe this. I think that because of neurotypical, well, I'm not going to say superiority, numbers. Basically, we live in a neurotypical um, social society because there is a majority of you guys. Now, neurotypical is means neurotypical brain chemistry because you're neurotypical, where I am not. I'm not neurotypical. I'm abnormal brain activity. So when I say neurotypical, I'm referring to basically the general population, anyone who hasn't got a considered autism or a mental difference or diversity. Now, so I find that this is one of the most important things for a person with Asperger's is not being your ego. Everyone falls into this because it's a defense response from your brain to handle social situations in ways you're not quite capable of doing yourself. But for a person with Asperger's, this is a serious disability. It actually makes us disabled to adhere to our fears. It prevents us from feeling and experiencing the situation to a point where we really become inadequate in a lot of ways. It's a pain in the ass, really. I find that if um, social dynamics were different for, let's say, if social society was actually based on my brain chemistry, a person with Asperger's would not fall into autism, social disabilities as easy. Basically, my belief is that social disabilities in people with Asperger's is usually comes from a taught um, inability. We're trying to keep up with a neurotypical social dynamics when our brain just doesn't have capabilities yet. These are things we have to learn on top of every other subject in just general life living. Um, well, it's a pretty good one. I hope I haven't got you guys too lost, but well, my mind thinks complicated. It's quite interesting actually. The way I think in my mind is very complicated, and if it was simple, like a simple sentence structure, I would actually get it all mixed up. So I'd have like the in the wrong spot or an and in the wrong spot or any other simple words. But if it's a complicated sentence, I actually handle it a lot better than I would. Um, well, considering I'm meant to have a language disability, but as you can tell, I can articulate complexities quite well. There's a little bit of struggle at times, but I think that's just a little camera shy because I'm not used to talking to you guys. So anyway, this is my 10-minute video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'll probably make another one pretty soon about more egotistic dynamics. I hope you guys are listening. Bye.